name's William. I'm from Houston, Texas. My mom was a pharmaceutical rep, and my dad was a jack of all trades, but a master of none. I was kind of cursed into addiction. My father was an addict. His father before him was. They both sold drugs. So I saw it at a young age, kind of grew up around it. It's what I glorified. Life was a little rough, you know, grew up homeless at times. I remember the first thing I ever stole was a sandwich. Seeing drug dealers was kind of like watching what I wanted to be. I glorified it. My dad gave me drugs at a very young age, and we got high together. So that was kind of the start of our cycle. It continued on and off until I finally got arrested for trafficking in drugs and was looking at a significant amount of time. Fighting that, I didn't get as much time as I thought I was going to, so I ended up going to prison and doing some time. After getting out of prison, I met a girl and we kind of fell in love. Things were good, but we got high together. Around 2019, my dad died, and that was my best friend. Even though we got high together, he was my best friend. With him dying, it kind of sent me in a whirlwind, but it didn't really get bad until the end of 2019 when my wife died. She overdosed, and I kind of lost it and went really bad. I'm like 225 now. I went down to 148 pounds and was just ravaged. I was stuck in this addiction and I couldn't let go. It was finally to the point where I was in the hospital room. My wife was brain dead, and they were looking for a recipient for her heart. And I was in the hospital room with the same bag of dope and the same needle that put her in the bed, and I was using it. And it kind of dawned on me, like, what am I doing? This just killed her. And so I went to rehab. And I went to rehab and I spent about 7 months there, and I got sober. But when I got out, I wasn't sober-minded. So I got out and got around my brother. He ended up overdosing and dying in front of me. And I went off the deep end and I tried to kill myself. I ended up in the ICU for several days, and when I came to, my sister was bringing me here because she lives here in Greenville. And she brought me here and she introduced me to Kyle Marsh. And he asked me straight up, he said, "What do you want?" And I told him I wanted to die. I had no ambition, no goals, nothing. I didn't know how to live. I was sober, but I wasn't sober-minded. And that's when I got involved with Next Steps. Getting out of rehab, they got me sober, but they didn't teach me how to live my life. Simple things that most people find easy, opening a bank account, getting a credit card, credit score, all these kind of things were lost to me. I didn't have any understanding of it. Next Steps put me in a place that was an opportunity to grow the man. Not so much focused on drugs, but the aspect of life, to mold me into a person that somebody could be proud of, that I could be proud of, that I could look in the mirror and be like, that's the guy, you know? And it put me in that situation. By being intentional and specific, it changed my patterns to create new habits. Growing a man is being honorable and respected, but it's not so much other people honor you and respect you, but you honor you and respect you when nobody else is around. The things that you do, you're not one thing in front of somebody and then another thing around somebody else. You're that man every day, every moment of that day, and continuing to want to grow. Next Steps is such a perfect name for this place because it's about taking that next step, you know, continuing to move forward. When you reach a goal, all of a sudden now you have a new goal and you continue to push forward every day. Even if it's just small steps, but eventually you build momentum and it's no longer a thought, you're just moving. It's easier for me because I've walked through this program, so I can relate to these guys and help them understand what each process is and say, look, I did it. Look where I came from, nothing, to where I am now. When I came through those doors, I came in with a pair of basketball shorts, a pair of shoes, and a t-shirt, nothing at all. I didn't have a driver's license. I never had credit, so it was atrocious. And I came in July of 2020, and in less than a year, I went from cutting grass to now I work at a very good company with a 401k and health insurance. I have my driver's license. I have a bank account. My credit score went from 300 to now it's at almost 700. I've built momentum very fast, but the thing about it is when I started, I didn't have the energy, but I just kept pushing. And as I kept pushing, the energy came, and all of a sudden it became more easier to reach these goals. And all of a sudden it was goals coming left and right. As far as family is concerned, me and my mom, we barely talked because I was such a pain in her life. I stressed her out. She was battling breast cancer and she couldn't deal with my drama and what she was going through as well. Now she calls me and talks to me all the time. My sister, the one that brought me here, we hadn't talked for 12 years or more. And now she's around helping me all the time. She wants me around her family. They want me around their family. Once you start this ball rolling, it continues to roll if you continue to move in it. It's not stopping, but continuing that traction. Other places focus on a program and it's a cookie cutter, and everybody is treated exactly the same, right? And it doesn't matter, you follow this step and this rule and this thing, and that works for a lot of people, but everybody's different. We all find different ways to get to the same place. Next Steps focuses on that difference, right? We all have something different about us. Everybody's not gonna follow the same path. And it helps guide each person in the direction they need to go, which changes from each person. You talk to somebody different. People can't handle the same things. So it helps focus and guide a person in the direction they need to go. My name's William, and I trust the process.